Hey, this is Pastor Rick. Glad you're back with me today in our study. Now, this is our 5-minute journey together where I explain to you another principle about Nehemiah that I loved. In the study, we've been looking at passion and how he was a guy that you could see his passion, feel his passion. But one that I love about this next part of what we're going to study is in chapter 2, verse 11. That's chapter 2, verse 11. After hearing all the bad things that were in Jerusalem, after hearing the walls were burned down, after hearing how bad the people were, he decided to go and check for himself. Now, there's a principle here. You don't just act because someone told you. You investigate for yourself. You make sure you get independent verification. Chapter 2, verse 11 says this: I went to Jerusalem, and after staying there 3 days, I set out during the night with a few others. I had not told anyone what my God had put in my heart to do for Jerusalem. I didn't tell anybody, I'm here to build a wall. I want y'all to know I'm going to fix everything. Have no fear. Nehemiah's here. He didn't do any of that. He said, listen, let me go see first. How often we get in trouble because we don't investigate? How often we get in trouble because we don't ask anybody? Sometimes we make decisions and we don't realize how sometimes the decision is made in a very naive mindset. But this is a guy who researches first. I love that. What do you need to research? What do you need to go back and investigate? What do you need to look at first? But once you decide it and you look at it, then you can take action. And I love the fact that he didn't take a lot of people. Sometimes the problem too is we take too many people with us. We got too many people involved. You tell everybody your dream, everybody your vision, everybody you meet, you tell your vision. Sometimes you need to pause down. Pause, did I say pause down? Yeah, pause, slow down, kind of put it together too fast there. Pause down, that's a new word. But slow down and focus your attention on gathering the facts. I see people come to me all the time and say, I want to be this, I want to be that. I said, have you ever researched what that pays? Have you ever researched anybody who was in it? Do you know anybody that's a doctor or a lawyer or a preacher or whatever you say you want to be? There's something about research. I love the fact he researched. Because when you research, then you know for yourself. The research will help you make better judgments. Sometimes you don't need a word from God. You need a little research. You'd be surprised how often I've solved my problem with just an extra read. There are moments in life you think you know. There are moments in life you think you've got it all figured out, and you don't. And so I want you to pause. I want you to think about yourself for a minute, and I want you to look at your life, and I want you to do some research. Now, the next part of this is going to be fascinating, because we're going to go to chapter 2, verse 17, and you're going to find that once he started doing research, and once he got started, and he started fixing the wall, he ran into another problem. He ran into people who tried to throw off his focus, but he was passionately focused. Listen to chapter 2, verse 17. Then I said to them, you see the trouble we are in Jerusalem lies in ruins, and its gates have been burned with fire. Come, let us rebuild the wall of Jerusalem, and we will no longer be in disgrace. After research, he decides what he's going to do. He goes to the people, makes his plea, and then he says, verse 18, I also told them about the gracious hand of God on me and what the king had said to me. They replied, let us start rebuilding. So they began to do this right away, right out of the box. They began to do the work. Notice the connection. He hears the problem, chapter 1. Then in chapter 2, he researches, right? And then you see in chapter 2, he goes and gets support for the building process. You can't fix something that the people around you don't want to fix. You see this in a house, right? You clean up the house, they mess it up. You save money, they spend it. Nehemiah goes after the heart of the people and says, I need to get you to buy into this plan. Research is fine, buy-in's another. I love the fact that he did that and inspired them, and now they said, let's rebuild the wall, and they did. In your life, a lot of things will go better if you look for consensus, especially if you need people's help. If you slow down just long enough for you to research and get your facts right, it'll be easier to convince people. Notice he got the research first, then he tried to win people. He made sure his facts were right. So let me pray for you. Father, may this be a moment when they pause and say, I need more research. I don't know enough about this. I'm excited about something I don't understand. Father, I pray this will be a moment of inspiration and power and victory in their life, and may they do the homework so they can have the right dream in Jesus' name. My name is Ricky Temple. Thanks for being with me for our 5-minute gathering. I'll see you next time. I got a little bit more to say about Nehemiah you don't want to miss.